Good morning, family. Good morning. What a blessed day it is. What a great day it is to be alive. Good morning. I'm so honored, as always, to have you here with me, Emmanuel Levinus. If I didn't have something else to do, we were going to start a conversation this morning. You're most welcome. Erica, Amina, Nancy, Emmanuel Ofem, Christiana, Oluwa Damilola, Stephanie, Michael, Zita, Blessing, Ekene, Roslyn, Grace, Ogechi, Doris, I see you this morning. No school runs today. Chinyere Obiobasi, Angela, Love, Akpan, Georgie Coley Spiff, What a joy. What a delight. When I put on the setup this morning, I was like, oh, I remember WISER 2020, our first year. I was not in this same hotel room, but in this same hotel for a few days, I think 4 days or so. Jennifer and I were here, and we had WISER from here. And we even asked those who were in town to come over to have WISER that evening, because then we used to do like question and answer session in the evenings. But we realized, that was exhausting. We were on morning and evening. So I'm in the city of Uyo, one of the most beautiful places, one of the most beautiful cities in Nigeria. And I have been to 31 cities in Nigeria. At least I've been to 31 state capitals. Uyo remains one of the most beautiful, well done, and one of the most beautiful states, because out of the 31 local governments in Uyo, in Akwa Ibom State, I'm sure I have been to 14 of them. And it's almost the same beauty you experience driving to those different local governments. Is it 31 local governments Uyo has, or 23? I think it's 23. It's Rivers that has 31. But I'm mixing something up right now. Please correct me. But I've been to at least 14 local governments within Akwa Ibom State. And I'm always so happy to come back here. I'm always so delighted to be here. Where are you today in the world? How are you feeling? It's a blessed life. It is a blessed life when you have things to count, to be grateful for. And they don't have to be big things. Some of us, let me rephrase that. One assignment for 2023. Remember, WISER is about unraveling wisdom to win in 2023, things to help us do better in 2023. So one of the things that we really want to ensure we do in 2023 is count our blessings. Count our blessings. Every small, every tiny thing that could easily be overlooked. Count your blessings down and name them one by one. I am grateful for the opportunity to be in Uyo again. Then we came to work at the graduation of Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, and we had such an amazing time. We are here again. I'm grateful that the school honored us by inviting us again. So I'm so grateful. They could have not, but they have. And they are so gracious with everything, that's every courtesy, every hospitality. They didn't have to put us in this hotel. They could have put us anywhere else. So I am grateful. What are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for today? 23 local governments in Rivers and 31 in Akwa Ibom. Thank you so much. And somebody said hello from Port Harcourt. Someone else said hello from Kuwait. Oh, wonderful, Grace. Thank you. What time is it in Kuwait right now? Amina is in Lagos. Fantastic. So we're jumping right in. We have about 31 verses, I think, this morning. So let's jump right in and ensure we finish all of them at 7. I want to keep to our word of closing at 7 as best we can. I don't think it's best practice to always go into 7 something. So let's start. A gentle response diffuses anger, but a sharp tongue kindles a temper fire. I hit your leg. Oh, I'm so sorry. You hit my leg. Oh, I'm so sorry. Gentle. Everybody waka pass. Ah, you hit my leg. Madam, Oga, Joyce, you hit my leg. Hey, who sent you to put the leg there? You didn't see I wanted to pass. Wahalas, trouble. And sometimes we don't really mean to be rude. We just are trying to make a point. But wisdom is saying that might not be the most important thing right now. Calm down. Wisdom is saying that just might not be the most important thing right now for you to be right. Just apologize and move on. Oh, I hit your leg. Sorry. Ndo. Not, see, say at the past where you put leg for road. Who was it? I think it was Pastor Dilly Bamboy many years ago in church who said somebody was trying to get, okay, let's say Lacey stepped on Joyce. So rather than Joyce say to Lacey, you just stepped on me. Joyce said, the 10 toes under your leg, under your foot are mine, or the 5 toes under your foot are mine. And then Leslie now looked. It was a funny way of saying you've stepped on me, but I found it humorous. A gentle response. So today, can we be gentle in our responses? Is it okay to be gentle in our responses to our children, to our spouses, to our staff, to the people around us that we know, whether they are in our direct space or not, the people who take care of us at the bus park, the conductor, the driver, right? Is it okay to give gentle responses? Madam, hold your change, gentle. Okay. Madam, but I be tell you say, make you hold your change. Sorry, I no get. Rather than, if you don't get, can we? Can we try? Those of us in Abia State and in Abuja and in Port Harcourt. Yeah? Can we try? Verse 2. Knowledge flows like spring water from the wise. Fools are leaky faucets dripping nonsense. So, one thing we want to do in 2023 is surround ourselves with wise people. Here's what I mean. When you identify a few people around you who are wise, who have this beauty of spring flowing from them, you just want to keep them around you. Even if they're just 2 or 3 of them, those become your new friends. You want to talk to somebody, you want to have a chat with someone, you want to hang out with somebody. These are the kinds of people you want to keep close to you. There's some people who you will just not be excited about being in their presence all the time because they're like leaky faucets. They're always dripping nonsense. Even when they are your neighbors or people who live in your house, it's okay to greet good morning, good evening, how's your day? This, try and keep the conversation to its barest minimum and move so that you're careful not to receive their drip, drip, drip onto your mind, onto your life, into your heart. God doesn't miss a thing. He's alert to good and evil alike. He sees, he watches, he knows, so we can rest assured, knowing that he's seen and he would reward in his time. Let's not get frustrated. Let's remain encouraged that he's seen. He will take action in his time. He will take action in his time. Kind words heal and help. Cutting words wound and maim. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Be careful whose secrets you betray. There's one verse somewhere in Proverbs that says, "He that betrays a friend's trust during a quarrel, during an argument, should not be trusted." Sometimes it is in that heat of quarreling. You want to hurt this person as much as you think they have hurt you. And so you say that thing that just really hurts, that cuts, right? Oh, Joyce, please check, 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 check. Many of us will not hurt people with our words on a good day. It's when we are hurting. So when we are hurting, let's run to the rock. Know the thing that works for you. Let's run to the rock that helps us sanitize, that helps us clarify, that helps us rinse, so that in the heat of anger and pain, we don't end up hurting the people that we will regret later. Moral dropouts won't listen to their elders. Welcoming correction is a mark of good sense. So, for those of us who have been averse to correction, we have always, we not always, but we tend to, we run away from, sometimes we run away from being called out. I think that's the term we use these days. Oh, we run away from being called out. Being called out right now is one of the things that would help us be stronger, be wiser. It's okay for people to call us out on our nonsense. Else, we might continue in it and not realize. When people love you so much that they can't correct you, that's not love anymore. That's idol worship. That's idol worship, and you will be treated as an idol. God will not stand another person who has been idolized in his place. If people love you to the point that they cannot correct you, you are in trouble. So I don't want anybody who loves me so much that they cannot correct me. Don't love me to the point where I do wrong and you can't say, "Sister Joyce, this thing you did is off. Joyce, my darling, Ma, I don't think that thing you said was correct. Ma, I don't think that thing you did was right. I think you could speak to him this way." I'm speaking to mentees and mentors alike. It's okay to be able to call your mentor out if they're wrong. You can do it like Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany. Her mentor was involved in a corruption scandal not too long after she became a minister. She was not yet chancellor. She was a minister for, I think, women and youth or something like that. And he was the leader of their party, the Christian Democratic Party. And he was the one who had, as it were, single handedly picked her and made her a minister in that first year of her joining the party. And so she was supposed to be loyal to him. So I think in a closed meeting, in a closed interaction, she had expressed her disappointment. I'm please, I hope I'm not getting the story wrong. So you need to study it for yourself to be sure. uh, I think she had asked him to maybe apologize or step aside. I think she had asked him to step aside, like, "I think you should step aside while this investigation is going on," that kind of thing. And of course, people came at her like, "How dare you? This person who brought you up, this person who," she loved him. She really loved him, but she was still going to stand for what was right. And so, in the heat of all of that, and when he did not give up, and the story continued, she put out something in the newspaper where she called him out and asked him to resign. And because it was now a bold move, imagine going to this day paper and taking the front page and calling him out. And guess what? Because of the strength of her voice, and of course, what she was saying was right. She used facts, figures. She wasn't being emotional. She was clear. He did step aside as the leader of the party. And I think it was only about, if I'm not mistaken, about 15 years later or so that they really made up again, because he didn't take it lightly at all. Here's my prayer: that nobody loves me so much that they can't correct me. And I am not too strong headed not to accept correction, no matter how painful it is and from who, especially if it's from somebody who I think I have trained or I have raised or I have Can you imagine? It was this person who came to tell me this. Hey, mechanic don't grow. So it's mechanic now that's coming to correct me. Mechanic, please correct me if and when I'm wrong. Nancy, please correct me if and when I'm wrong. And say it the best way you can. If you can't say it verbally, write a letter. Ma, I think you should correct this, that. And that's it. So don't ever, and this is for all of us, find the best way to correct the people we love. God corrects the ones he loves. Don't say, well, let me not tell her now so that she will not look at me. As if you really love that person, correct them and take the correction, accept it, welcome it. Sometimes you might debate it if you're not clear. Debate it. It's okay to debate it, but not with a closed heart, with the intention to get the meat of it, right? The willingness to accept correction easily without offense is a mark of good sense. And who are the people with good sense in the house? Hey, here we are, here we are. The lives of God loyal people flourish. A misspent life is soon bankrupt. The lives of God loyal people flourish. We flourish in joy, we flourish in health, we flourish in quality of people that are around us. But a misspent life is soon bankrupt. You will run out of not just money, you will run out of currency, run out of attention, run out of, what are the other currencies? Time, energy. So we want to be in a place of good sense, of lives that honor God. I was at an event a few days ago, and I was constantly perplexed. I was constantly perplexed by how, if we're not careful, we are so attached to, some of us, I think the word is even addicted to our phones, to posting, telling, checking what's happening, that we are missing time. And remember, time is a currency. So I was at this event where serious conversations were being had. Someone who was by my side on my left, at some point I had to hold her hand and say, this is why we are at this place, for this moment. It's a currency. It's a currency to be present in the moment. I said, drop your phone for now. Yes, we need to take photos, we need to do videos. It shouldn't be at the expense of the conversation being had. When the conversation is done, when the music is being played, then we can take photos and all. But if I'm going to lose what is being said because we want to do videos, then we are misspending. And after a while, we will be bankrupt, because when we ask, okay, so what was said? What did we learn out of this? Guess what? The account is empty. We didn't put in the deposit. Why? We were misspending time and attention. We were not paying attention. So as much as it's okay to be on your phone for this, that, and the other, remember, especially now that we know that it is currency. Like I said, the day John spoke, I had never heard it in that light, that, when we say pay attention, spend time, I had never looked at it as something we're really exchanging for something else. So that time, that time should be giving returns. But it will only give returns if it is used for the right thing at the right time. What are we studying? What are we learning? If I'm awake, what can I take out? So yesterday on the flight, I flipped through the Fulcrum magazine on Ibom Air, and I read the story of this young man, Ekong. I think that's his surname, Ekong. I had never known anything about him. I didn't even know. I just knew that Lekki Gardens was owned by some young men. I knew it because many years ago, at least over 6 years ago, one of my brothers bought a property with Lekki Gardens, and after a while had to sell. And he said, "Oh, they were young guys." That's all I knew, nothing else. Now I know the guys from Akwa Ibom State. He started the business at age 31. He has failed so many times. In fact, his story of failure was just wow. I was just reading like, wow. You will see this person now so successful. You will say, "Oh, I want to be like them." You have no idea the number of times they failed, how they lost. He was duped 7 times, 7 solid times duped while doing his trading business of prop land, of he used to trade land, sell land before he said, "Okay, you know what, let's go into development." And even as they got into development, they made some errors that they regret. They made some big losses. And so has he stopped moving? No. They keep going. He said, look at him, as trained as he was by the best experts with the education he has, but he was duped 7 times. He said, how much more those who don't have the knowledge that I have? Can you imagine how many times they would have been duped? That's why he said, you know what, let's even close this gap more. How does somebody bounce back from being duped 7 times and not killing himself? Stories like that are just a reminder that I have no business giving up. So, what's that thing you're investing your time on? It is currency. What have I? So, I may not have been at work all day, but if that's all I could take out of the day, that I learned this about this person, I now know who he is, I have an idea what his story is like. I invested my time well. And guess what? I might meet him somewhere tomorrow and mention, oh, this, that, the other. The other day, I was on a flight from where to where, I don't remember now. I was on Airpiece flight, so I opened the Airpiece Alice magazine. The front page, the cover was about um, young, the top 10 or something, young, thriving Nigerians. And I wanted to see who these people are. And so I opened and I saw a lady called Sandra. What's Sandra's surname now? Sandra Chukwudozie. She was the first, the write-up, hers was the first write-up. And then there were several others. And she's the one who deals in off-grid power, solar energy and all. And I saw in there that they've been able to supply over 2,000 houses in Akwa Ibom State with alternative solar power. And that was how I called someone and I said, I know you know her because your company did something with her. I read it on the plane. And within 4 days or 5 days, I was on the phone with Sandra. And Sandra and I are going into some sort of well, I'm buying from her, but I'm seeing how we can also partner. She has taught me a few things on how we can help my local government and people in the local government grow their access to off-grid power, solar energy. How? So where did that come from? The investment of time in studying that thing. If I didn't open that magazine, that's time lost. I very well could have been on my device looking through things that were not going to be of use to me. Is it bad to look at your phone? No. Is it wise investment of time? You are the judge of that. This information you have gotten now, what has it helped you do? I'm saying this because it's our reality that we all have to be on a device almost every time. So be careful to check that this time is being invested, that this amount of attention you're paying to this thing is coming back in value. Nothing wrong with checking status from time to time. Nothing wrong. And these are things I say to myself. But just check that at the end of it, it's giving you something that is of value, not just nice for the eyes. Joyce, are you hearing? We move. A misspent life is soon bankrupt. I took time on this because when we think of a misspent life, usually we don't think of ourselves. We think of people we call weary, no future ambition. That one that is just jumping up and down. Misspending is what we're doing with our attention, what we're doing with our energy, what we're doing with our time, and of course, what we're doing with our money. Where are we investing money? Where are we saving money? Who are we giving money? What habits are we feeding? All that is about how life is being spent. So if all my money is going on frivolities, that's also a misspent life. It's okay to be kind to people and support them financially. Not, I repeat, not to the detriment of your own flesh and blood. The other day I was in the restroom. Where was I? Like 2 days ago. And I think that was 2 days ago. And as I was getting up, I just remembered a conversation I had with a friend about, that was 1997 or 1998. I don't know how it just jumped at me. And he said, my father spent his monies taking care of everybody in the community. And we, the children, missed out on some opportunities that we could have had. My father was an honest businessman. This was my friend talking to me. He said, my father was an honest businessman who made a lot of money. He could have sent us to the best schools, myself and my siblings, 4 of us. He had enough to send us to the best schools. But in his, what do you call it? In his generosity, he put us in the same kind of schools that everybody else went to. And guess what? They feel cheated. Now, it's the children feel cheated that they went to government schools when their father had enough money to send them abroad to school. Now, this is magnanimity, benevolence. Yes, those are the words. Now, this is a dicey situation. But what it taught me and what I was reminded of that 2 days ago was these children of yours, my own children, did not ask to come to me. From what I have, or from what resources I have, I owe them the best I can afford. Even as much as I want to be of help to the rest of the world. Isaiah chapter 61, I believe, not 61, Isaiah 64, either 64 or 65, where he talks about fasting, was saying that the kind of fast that you shouldn't cover yourself from your own flesh. One of the translations says you shouldn't hide yourself from the needs of your own family. Be careful where to strike the balance, that I am not so generous to the world, I have none for my own family, meaning time, energy, attention, and money, that I can't give it all to the world where I don't have enough for my own family. That could be a version of a misspent life where all the attention, Isaiah 58, thank you, that's it, where all the attention is given out to the world and none to those who are within my own home. And tomorrow they say, Joyce to the world, everywhere in the world, but none for us. That is a type of misspending. Pay attention to your family. Pay attention to those of the same household of yours, your children, your spouse. Don't spend or invest out so much that your family lacks attention, energy, time, and money. That's a word to me I hope it's helpful to somebody else. Perceptive words spread knowledge. Fools are hollow. There is nothing to them. There is nothing to them. Perceptive words spread knowledge. Be careful what words you take in. The other day, I stumbled on an Instagram post. It was the post next to something I was looking for. And it was it was a LinkedIn post, I beg your pardon. It was by a man who apparently runs a big company. He sent me a DM. And so that was how I knew him for the first time. And so I went to look at his LinkedIn page. A lot of, he's very well established and this. And so I was just reading to know him better before I responded to his DM. And I saw where he wrote, only those who were with me in the fire days of my life, or only those who were with me in the kitchen have a right to sit with me at the table. And he now wrote something, and he had over 100 comments. More than half of those comments, what am I saying? Almost 80% of those comments were, yes, correct, sir. I agree with you, sir. The 20%, I was looking at the episodes of those 20% who said, the kitchen, I don't know that the kitchen is for everybody. The kitchen is for those who can deal with what's going on in the kitchen. The chef, the helpers. So are my guests also supposed to come into the kitchen with me to work? In the house of, if one person wrote such a long episode, like, I think there is something primarily wrong with that. Well, maybe that's not the word, but the person spoke up. I love the fact that they were like, inside the kitchen, I don't know if that's the place for everybody. Sometimes the kitchen is even much smaller than the dining. So why is it only those who were in the kitchen? I'm expecting the president of China to come for dinner. I'm inviting them to dinner. Should he come cook in the kitchen with me? Or should I be proud of all the work that happened in the kitchen by the display, the spread that is now out on the dining? Yes, I understood he was saying very similar to what Proverbs said the other day, that when you're not with the people in the time that they're down, it's possible they would not appreciate you when all things are fine and dandy. I remember then I said, a caveat, be careful that we are not out for those who were not there with us in our time of problem. So he wrote something about, you were not with me in my day of struggle, then you have no right to come and celebrate and be part. I'm like, I think that's a faulty thinking. In the day of my difficulty, that was the season of my growth. That was the season of my being built. It's okay for the world to enjoy with me when I have grown. Be careful so that you don't fall into the mindset of third world thinking, or the mindset of scarcity mentality. We are in a world of abundance. Nobody can finish my abundance. So be careful, be careful. The reason I say it is, see what it says here. Perceptive words spread knowledge. Fools are hollow. It seemed like a big thing said by a big man, but be careful with the depth of what it is that you're taking in. It might be hollow. So I was concerned about those young people who are not wise themselves, who are not grounded, who have not given time and attention to growing themselves, who might just see the words of this man and carry it because he's a. So when they're having difficulty now, somebody doesn't come. The day they're now shining, say, come on, go away. You were not there the day I needed you. Problem. Careful little ears what you hear. God can't stand pious poses, but he delights in genuine prayers. It's not just by how we pose to be pious, but I always say that thoughts are prayer. Everything you're thinking every time is prayer, because God says, I can do exceeding abundantly more than what you can ask or think. I'm also listening to your thoughts. He says, before you call, I have even heard. Why? He was listening to the thoughts. So genuine prayers is what happens in your heart. So that's why we're careful what we hear, what we ponder on, what we invest in, because that's where the genuineness of prayer happens. It's not just in what is said with the mouth. If life frittered away disgusts God, misspent. He loves those who run straight for the finish line. It's okay if your own is too much. Are you the only one? Every time you're reading. Every time yeah. It's okay. To run straight for the finish line. Maintain focus. It's a school of hard knocks for those who leave God's path, a dead end street for those who hate God's rules. And if you see the rules, all the rules that we have been listening to, we have been reading from these 15 days at WISER, they're quite a number, but guess what? You can categorize them into the same kind of buckets. Pay attention, ask a lot of questions, be kind, follow through, be diligent. Everything kind of falls into some major brackets or buckets, right? They're not like 1,000 different things. It's the same kind of principles. Be diligent, be focused. So when we are not careful to follow God's path of diligence, of excellence, of paying attention, of paying the price, of listening to wisdom calling out in the street, then it's a dead end. School of hard knocks, right? Even hell holds no secrets from God. Do you think he can't read human hearts? He knows it all. So he knows what's in our hearts. That's why we invest time to ensure that what's in our hearts is what is pleasing to him, so that we don't harbor evil here and say another thing here. He knows what's in the heart. So it's okay if 2023 is the year of studying and being around information that would make what is in the heart right. The secret life of I think there's a movie like that, or a book, The Secret Life of something something. Let what is in secret and what is in the open be the same. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. I'm sure everybody has had one secret or the other that they're not proud of, but we want to also move and transition to the point where what's in secret and what's in open is in sync. Know-it-alls don't like being told what to do. They avoid the company of wise men and women. This is such a call to check. Joyce, check yourself. The people you avoid, why do you avoid them? Is it because they hold you to high standards? Be careful not to avoid those who are actually calling you to higher standards. Don't avoid people who challenge you to be more and do more. There are such people. Oh, yes, there are such people. One friend of mine comes to mind, and I know that there was time I used to avoid her because she used to call me out to doing more. Call me out. And there were times I didn't want to hear that. I beg, leave me alone, Joe. We need them. We need them. Let's not avoid them. A cheerful heart brings a smile to your face. A sad heart makes it hard to get through the day. My question now is, whose responsibility is it to generate cheerfulness in the heart? Whose responsibility is it to ensure the constant, consistent state of cheerfulness? It's my responsibility. It's my responsibility. By doing what? Hanging around people I love, staying around things that are worthy of note, counting my blessings. Somebody told me that one of the greatest things WISER did for her is that in 2020, I know how in 2020, I don't know if we did it in 2021, but in 2020, one of the major takeaways was setting alarms, setting reminders for Thanksgiving. Then we said, I think we said, was it every 2 hours or every 3 hours or something? There was a guide. And we said, even if it's only 2 alarms in a day, Set those reminders to count your blessings. If you need a hard start, so set it every hour until it becomes a way of life where you are constantly seeing things to be grateful. Now, I don't have as many alarms as I used to, as many reminders as I used to, but I now have a lifestyle of constantly seeing things that I'm grateful for. So set those, do a hard reset where you have 4 reminders, 5 reminders. Do it now. Pick your phone, go to your alarm clock, your alarm, and set alarm for 11 a.m., 3 p.m. Do it when you are awake. Don't set reminders for when you are asleep and say, no, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. to give thanks. Don't do that. Don't interrupt your sleep. Don't, don't avoid, not don't, avoid destabilizing the laws of nature. God made those laws of nature with intention. He's so wise. He knows why you are supposed to be asleep at a certain time. So don't interrupt your sleep for trying to be moving stuff. Remember, currency, time, the time to sleep. Allow your sleep time be. When you are awake, set reminders to do. There is a time to sleep, and He knows why He gave us those hours of dark to rest and re energize. Remember, energy is currency. So don't set your reminders for 2 a.m., 4 a.m. So you wake up, you give thanks for 5 minutes, you struggle back to sleep. Now you've distorted your circadian rhythm, and then at 4 a.m. you're up again to give thanks again. Don't do that, please. Please avoid doing that. Set reminders for your waken hours. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and every time your alarm beeps, be thankful for something around you at that time. Oh, I'm thankful for water to drink. Oh, I'm thankful for tea, that I could drink tea today. I'm thankful that today I had this conversation with this person. I'm thankful for a bed that is, what do you call it? Orthopedic. I'm thankful for soft pillows. I'm thankful that I no longer have pimples like I used to. Or I'm thankful that, be thankful for something in the moment. You know, one day, all I could think of that was, I'm thankful I no longer have those menstrual pains that I used to have in secondary, university. Oh my gosh, it was bad. There were times I would need to crawl on the floor from my bed to the bathroom, and somebody would need to help me stand up. Those days when I couldn't walk, 2 days a month, 3 days a month, counts. I'm thankful that I don't have dandruff like I used to have as a child when I used to scratch and see dandruff. So think about what you're thankful for in the moment at each time. I'm thankful I don't have to sit in the salon for 4 hours anymore. Since I started carrying Dada, I remember those days of going to change my weave on or going to change my hairstyle. I would dedicate 4 to 5 hours because you get to the salon, you wait your turn. Oh my gosh, I'm thankful. So, what are you thankful for? And set your reminders to remind you to create a cheerful heart that brings smile to your face, so that you make it through the day, because a sad heart finds it difficult. And what are some of those things that make our hearts sad? The news about what's happening in Nigeria. Oh, one people have been kidnapped here. Hey, this other person is here. The naira is crashing. They are the realities, but must you interact with them so much that you are so heavy-hearted? And there are times that it doesn't even allow you make decisions. Let me go and ask this person to help me with job. In fact, let me not even go. You will go there now, they will tell you that work, this country is hard for everybody. I bet, let me stay. You see how the news has just robbed you of energy? So be careful, little ears, what you hear. An intelligent person is always eager to take in more truth. Fools feed on fast food fads and fancies. Check if you're always just looking for the shortest, smallest, quickest fast food way of getting information. The intelligent person will want the full thing, want to read the whole newspaper article so that they know Who said what, when, where, why, to get the real meat, not just the headlines. Headlines can give you some level of information, but be careful to know that you are not living a fast food life. If not, before you know it, you'll just be on fads and you have no real truth. You have no real substance because you didn't read the research. The research was 16 pages long. Read it. In there, you get the core. But if we're just picking tweets, it's just shortest number of characters possible. Be careful. Be careful. A miserable heart means a miserable life. A cheerful heart fills the day with song. It's my responsibility to dig up what brings cheerfulness to my heart. A simple life in the fear of God is better than a rich life with a ton of headaches. What's the fear of God? Wisdom. What is wisdom? Doing what's right, what's diligent, all the things we've been talking about, keeping the right company. Those are the elements of the fear of God, not a pious look. The elements of the fear of God are doing the right things and doing things right. Better a bread crust shared in love than a slab of prime rib, enough suya served in hate. Be careful. It's for all of us. Just check. Check. Sometimes you want to do good for someone just to show them that they thought will not make amounts to anything. You're now the one paying rent for them. That's a prime rib served in hate. You may not be rewarded for that rent you just paid. Hey, let me pay school fees for them. I think they were the ones that told me that nothing good will come out of my life. I think they've told me nothing good will come out of my life. Now see me. I will pay the school fees for all of them, for her and her children. In fact, I'll guess what? I'll even pay their house rent just to show them that they rejected. See me now. Prime rib served in hate. Prime rib. Be careful. There might be no reward for that. In fact, God might just be like, if you're going to serve them anything, serve it in love. Yes, you cast me out. I forgive you if you can. If you've not forgiven them, just move away. You don't even have to interact with them, Abi. Move. Hot temper start fights. A calm, cool spirit keeps the peace. The same thing that was said in the first verse. I like how John said, Proverbs is about repetition and poetry, and how play of words, different ways to make the same point so that it sticks. Hot temper starts fights. Calm, cool spirit keeps the peace. So don't go to the customer service people to fight. Go there to get solutions. Hello, good morning, Michael. How are you? Michael, the hot water in my room isn't running, or the tap in my room isn't running. How do we fix it very quickly within the next 10 minutes? I need to have a shower and leave now, Michael. Thank you. Not, what are people doing? All these overpriced Nigerian hotels. Can you imagine? No hot water in my room. Yes, people will say you are the this. Uh-huh. And I know I've done it before, so it's not as if I'm saying what I've not done. It might not get the result we seek quickly. It might just be another person's come to shout, hey, madam, we'll fix it. 30 minutes later, they're still looking at you, eyeing you up and down. I think you will chop your eye. The path of lazy people is overgrown with briars. The diligent walk down a smooth road. Lazy people leave so many things undone, so they would be overgrown weeds all around. Intelligent children make their parents proud. Lazy students embarrass their parents. Flip it the other way, it is also true. Intelligent parents make their children proud. Lazy parents embarrass their children. Children are proud of parents who they see work hard and live out principles of truth, not parents who are hypocritical, say one thing and do another, right? So it's both ways. May we be made proud by our children, and may we make our children proud by being intelligent, diligent, hardworking. They see, and they pick, they copy. The empty headed treat life as a plaything. Sometimes we say it's a game. The perceptive grasp its meaning and make it go of it. A plaything is spending more time on things that are play than things that are of meaning to life. Except, of course, your mission in life is to create play for people. So even then, it now becomes serious work when you're in the business of creating fun parks and theme parks for people. It's a lot of play and fun. But if you read the story about those people who work at Walt Disney and the Walt Disney parks, you see that it's a lot of work. I remember years ago when I read how they walk through the day. Just there was an article about 24 hours in the in the Walt Disney park and how they work the shifts and who comes to clean when and all. I'm like, that's a lot of work. Refuse good advice and watch your plans fail. Take good counsel and watch them succeed. We are not custodians of all the knowledge in the world. We need advisors. And Proverbs has said this many times in the multitude of counsel. There is success. Walk with the wise. Congenial conversation, what a pleasure. The right word at the right time. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I want to be a person of congenial conversation, happy, sweet conversation. Look, I want to, with all my heart, my life, my soul, I want to converse with someone. And when they're leaving, they go, wow, I enjoyed talking with you. I enjoyed spending this time with you. They spent, they invested. I don't want people to walk away after we've had a conversation and go, yes, that would happen once in a while because my point of view may not be in sync with the other person's point of view. That's okay. But that would be the off time. That would be the 10% or the 20%. The majority of the time, people would love what I have to say because I have spent time to invest in what I say. Give me a moment. Let me get something to drink. I had actually made the tea, but I forgot to pour it and bring it here before we started. Cheers. I'm having red berry and green angel tea. Oh my gosh. I want you to hear what I'm drinking. That annoying way of drinking, like slopping. Cheers. What are you drinking? Have some water with you? Cheers. So I want to be a person of congenial conversation. Somebody might be asking, what's the meaning of congenial? Where's my phone? Congenial means congeniality. Congenial. Pleasing. Pleasing or liked on account of having qualities or interests that are similar to one's own. Pleasant, agreeable, best suited to one's taste or inclination. Hence, being congenial, a person of congenial conversation means I'm not only always going to hijack the conversation into what I want, I'm willing to speak about what the other person is willing to speak about. Meaning, I would also be a person of vast knowledge. So that if I'm speaking with somebody who wants to talk about sports, I wouldn't say, oh, no, 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 I don't know anything about sports. It would be, oh, tell me about it. Or why do you? So I'm not saying much. I'm the one asking the questions. Oh, tell me about tennis. You like tennis? Oh, yeah. So why do you like tennis? Who's your favorite player? Oh, really? Nadal? Why? So what do you think about call one name? Oh, really? So you see, I'm asking the question, steering the conversation. That's congeniality. Not sports. No, no, no. I beg. Let's talk about movies. I'm such a movie person. That's not congenial. That's moving the conversation away from the other person. No, congenial is let's read it again. Of having qualities or interests that are similar to one's own, best suited to one's taste or inclination. So I am flexible enough, I'm open-minded enough to listen to converse about. So the other person wants to talk about why they so believe in Boko Haram. And rather than say, Boko Haram, God forbid, I don't believe in them. Congenial. Tell me why. Because in the place of conversation, you will learn something. Really, why? Why do you believe in Boko Haram? What are they trying to achieve? Do you think so? What do you think about the killings of the innocent people? So how do we give them what they want and yet stop them from killing? Oh, wow. So you think if we have the conversation about this, it can work? Do we have this example anywhere in the world? You are learning, and that conversation will be pleasing. Look, that's what wise people do. It's foolish that close the door and say, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire. Have the conversation. You will likely learn something. Guess what I've just learned? I've just learned from this person that perhaps the conversation we're having is not the only way to look at it. That perhaps we can try this other method to have this. Look, I'm not saying it's what we will do, but at least I've learned something. I've learned that there are people who are thinking this way. Oh, really? Okay. Have the conversation. Let it be a congenial conversation. It brings pleasure, and you just might learn something new. The right word at the right time. Beautiful. Life ascends to the heights for the thoughtful. It's a clean about face descent. It's a clean about face from descent into hell, meaning life ascends to the heights for those who are thoughtful. It prevents them from going into hell. It prevents them from destruction. It prevents them from being destroyed. So being thoughtful, the ability to ask questions, that is what thought is. Pondering on a thing. Why is it this way? What do I do with it? When do I apply it? How did this mean? That's being thoughtful. God smashes the pretensions of the arrogant. He stands with those who have no standing, those who are willing. Let me open the Amplified here. I like the way the Amplified says this verse 25. Proverbs 15, 25, excuse me. Proverbs 15:25. The Lord tears down the house of the proud, but he makes secure the boundaries of the widow. That's people who have no standing, the widows, the orphans, or those who are not able to help themselves yet, who are not strong enough. He stands with them. God can't stand evil scheming, but he puts words of grace and beauty on display. I think the Amplified says, the thoughts of the wicked are shamefully vile and exceedingly offensive to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasing words to him. Ha ha. Where does purity come from? Sifting through not only action but thought. A greedy and grasping person destroys community. Those who refuse to exploit live and let live. So who are we? We are those who refuse to exploit. We will not be those who are greedy of greedy of gain, destroying our community. No. Prayerful answers come from God, loyal people. The wicked are sewers of abuse. This is the last verse I would read from the Amplified. It says, the mind of the uncompromisingly righteous studies how to answer. We study how to answer, meaning we are the ones who give prayerful responses to people. Those of us who are God loyal, those of us who stick with the principles. We study how to answer. We don't just answer flippantly. But the mouth of the wicked pours out evil things. Evil is not only wicked and things that are bad. Evil is it's not well thought through. You haven't thought through it. You haven't planned it. You haven't sequenced it. You haven't thought through the response. You've just put it without structure. There was no investment of time. God keeps his distance from the wicked. He closely attends to the prayers of God loyal people. Somebody say amen. A twinkle in the eye means joy in the heart, and good news makes you fit as a fiddle. So, who is responsible for good news? I am. So, I will search out the news that is good to me by way of study, by the quality of people I keep around me. I am responsible for good news. So even if the world is being destroyed, I will sift out good news from where it is, even if it is the news of my future. I can look into my future and say, these are the things that I will be, these are the things I will do for God and humanity. That's good news for the day. Listen to good advice if you want to live well. An honored guest among wise men and women. I want to live well, so I will listen to good advice. An undisciplined, self willed life is puny, can easily be destroyed. An obedient, God willed life is spacious. And final verse, fear of God is a school in skilled living. The fear of God is a school in skilled living, diligent living. First, you learn humility, then you experience glory. First, we learn humility, the ability to do right regardless of how highly placed we are, and then we experience glory. Today, I'm responsible for my good news. Today, I'm responsible for my cheerful heart. Today, I'm responsible for the quality of responses and conversations that I have. Right words, right time. I am responsible for being congenial. It's a lesson in humility. Oh, yes. When I am able to change the conversation to what makes me happy. But now I switch it up to allow others converse and I learn from them by perhaps steering the conversation to get out meat. And if it's I see that it is not good for me, I do what? I take a walk. I leave because it is my responsibility to protect what I think, which comes in from where? What I see, what I hear, what I feel. I am responsible. I wish us a great day. Cheers to cheerfulness. Cheers to mindfulness. Cheers to doing the right thing at the right time, saying the right words at the right time. Let me give you the last one. I love you. Shine, shine, shine.